Hey, KMS Rundown listeners. You can find every episode on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or YouTube. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music.
Oh, wow. Here we are. Ziggy, how you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, everyone that does the intros, I feel like they get the joke that it's the same intro as KMS, so they try to match Kirk's inflection, but Mick just read there like a robot. That was weird.
Like a total robot. He seemed very stilted. You gotta Prime members.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. I don't know why. Oh, that's too bad.
I am doing well though. We did not record an emergency post show last week. No. We were not expecting the near 3-hour show, so had to get home to the whole Easter shenanigans Sunday morning, but we're here.
It was a tall ask. I was exhausted. I know we weren't actually performing. We were just sitting there laughing and enjoying it for 2.5 hours plus. But yeah, there's no way we could have done a show after that. So I'm glad we stayed away. We let others do their show and do their reckless speculation on Kirk and other things. So I'm glad we gave the time, and now here we are almost a week later. I'm sure everybody's dying for our take on this. This is great. This is timely.
I mean, everyone's recapped it, but no one recaps it like we do.
That's true.
We're gonna say something about Sheldon, or we're gonna pretend that he doesn't exist, like he always does with me. Like very funny. He does it every single time. Never gets old.
Yeah, it's too bad. After going that entire that weekend, just hearing from everybody how much they love Sheldon, and now nowhere to be found. Here we are. So I was happy to see everyone and meet new people. And the first thing they wanted to talk about was Sheldon. And now he's not here.
Yeah, he's passing out, I think, Biden campaign flyers, maybe.
Yeah, if it is what it is, he's doing his best. He's campaigning for Biden and trying to get his guy back.
Or no, I think that was actually last weekend. This weekend, he's away on the diversity training with his work. It's like a little retreat.
Oh, no. Well, listen, whatever his pronouns are, I hope he's doing well wherever he is. That's too bad. We can get right into this. I think it was a wonderful show, obviously, but there was a lot of stuff going on, a lot of good inside Minifan stuff going on before the show. And we got to go right there. Thank you. It was a pleasure riding with you and parking and driving through and going through the old port and watching Portland and seeing all these folks walking around. And as soon as you see these guys walking around, you're spotting Minifans, whether they're wearing their Kirk Minahan show sweatshirt or not. There's Minifans everywhere.
All right, so we said pre-show we would try to avoid like the jokes the other people have said. I've heard that a couple times, so let's move past that one. On to the next.
Oh well, okay. Well, I enjoyed spotting them. It was great. And driving around, and I think we saw Harlan. I think we saw him first, Harlan Axton. So we saw him, and we saw a few
Stacy's phone. Yeah,
Stacy's phone. So we got to like drive around, wave, say hello. And then
stiff arm a couple autograph seekers on the way.
Listen, folks, calm down. I mean, listen, I know you want to see Ziggy without the mask on, but it was nice of you to wear the mask all the way through. It was good of you for the fans, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, that was nice. So as we got there, do you remember the name of the bar or the restaurant? Not that it really matters, but I want to give them CBG.
Yes.
Great Lebowski bar. If anybody's into the movie. White Russians ready to go. Big mural for the movie. So I did like that. And then as we walk in, there's Tony Malarkey ready to get the party started with a PBR. Our boy.
It was a power lunch when he was there, and then it slowly just got more powerful that way.
Just a cavalcade of Minifans. And I believe Dave Cullinane was the first guy to walk through after us.
First star, the first true star. Yeah.
Big star.
Yeah.
It was nice for him to come over to our table. And then there was, I noticed there was a Minifan sitting to my left who was not making himself known until Dave Cullinane walked in. And then he had to introduce himself.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew we were surrounded by greatness.
And we have to say, like I think I tweeted something like the mustache looked perfect on Dave.
It really
didn't look out of sorts. I think he said his daughter requested it, which is a little strange. I won't get into that. But the posture is where it really stuck out. I mean, no lifts, perfect posture. When they Kirk called Dave, Dave on Monday, he was like, 8 pounds of visceral belly fat gone in 2 weeks. Thank you very much. So he really wanted to know. Someone else was talking about trying to lose weight. He really wanted to know what their routine was, so that he could then interject what his own routine was.
Of course,
he's probably doing CrossFit, although probably not because he didn't say he was doing CrossFit. But it was one of those type of things.
He wanted to insert it as quickly as he could,
Yeah.
and it was a surreal moment for me. I'm sitting there on the corner table, and I got Cullinane to my left and Ziggy to my right. And here I am having an honest conversation about Beyonce's new country album with Dave Cullinane. And you could have killed me right there. It was beautiful. That was the peak. It gets no better than that right there. I mean, the show was great that night, but
it does get better than there.
Oh no. Yeah.
Like I said, a power lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the Drip Lord come in. We have John and Warren come in.
Mm-hmm.
Not as short as everyone says.
No.
Very short. Great guys though, and of course their best friend they bring along. They let their best friend let him know that we're getting lunch with some Minifans, with some down to earth, salt of the earth people.
Totally.
In walks Mike Mutnansky,
and I can't tell you, as I'm sitting, I'm closest to the door, and he walks in, and we lock eyes, and I get a firm handshake from the Mutt Man, who you could tell. He was walking a little ginger. His gait, you could tell he was hurting, and he walked right by you, Ziggy.
He didn't walk by me. He first off, I think anytime you walk into a bar, you don't really know. You got to get your bearings. You got to look around. Sure. It's like, where's the exit? Where's the bathroom? Mm-hmm. He saw you, like you stick out like a sore thumb, 6'6". I don't even know if he saw me at first. Thank God I did not stick my hand out. I'm pretty sure I didn't, because that would have been traumatic. But yeah, he made a beeline like the other side of the table, like went all the way around. Mm-hmm. So that hurt a little bit. But I'm thinking, like, I did the rundown with him. He saw me pre-show. He knows what I look like without the mask. And then Pat Ford, just like the nicest guy, about 5 minutes in, from across the table, Pat sitting next to me. He's like, "Hey, Ziggy asked me some question." That is a very classy move, making Mutt aware of who I am.
Yep.
No, I did go up and talk to Mutt after I shared some Bradford stories that I had. So I think he appreciated that. Or he didn't. He did look pretty miserable from the shingles, or maybe from the company at the table. But he was hurting for sure.
I'd like to think it was the shingles. I'd like to think that. Yeah. It seemed like he was having a good time. It did look like he slumped over as you were talking to him, I'm sure, about fantasy baseball. It looked like he was hurting there a little bit, maybe. But
I think when I walked over, he was like scrolling players available on the waiver wire. And I heard rumors of watching horse racing at the bar. I cannot confirm that. I did not see those with my own eyes. I obviously have sources that said that, but I cannot confirm. I've been unable to confirm those stories. But he was scrolling like, what am I doing with my life sitting?
It was great. That was great. And then I think Gig walked in. So it was like, You get Mutt, you got Cully, you got a top 10 Minifan. You got the Drips. I mean, it was a who's who.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Confused Duck comes in. Oh. And this guy, you want to talk about salt of the earth. Paid for everyone's lunch. Just a great guy. I gave him the nicest compliment you can give a Minifan, which was, "You look more normal in person than I expected." And then he said the exact same thing back to me. It was perfect. It was perfect. Great guy, Confused Duck. Make sure you're following.
Really great guy. I really wish he didn't buy our drinks and our food, because it wasn't just drinks. There was some good food there too, and he definitely went overboard. I'm glad we could repay him a little bit at the next spot, but did way too much. Great person. Like, there's this Minifans, man. They just, again and again, I don't care what they do on Twitter. I don't care what people say. Like, you get these people in public, and for the most part, there's phenomenal people all the way through. Every once in a while, there's a questionable character. But yeah, Confused Duck is a good dude. Good dude. When it comes to the rest of the that pre-show party right there, having a conversation with Mutt and talking about the show and talking through, and it seemed like Pat Ford as well, as they were getting ready for their walkthrough. How much did, like, I thought
they had already come from I think they already had.
Were they coming from there?
I think they already had it. Yeah. That
so the looks on their faces, it seemed like there was something about to go down as far as what they knew and what was going to happen. Obviously, they didn't share with us. I was not expected to see those guys later on, and I think Pat Ford mentioned this, but I think if he had known what he had known, he might not have eaten so much pre-show. Maybe.
He was
I don't know.
nervous. He was very nervous. And it didn't hit us till like they're on stage. Why halfway through the lunch, he's just like, he just brings up naring his chest or shaving his chest.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like, okay, sure. And then that's obviously why. But we can confirm there's no Montante stuff going on. Like he did not give us any heads up what the game plan was. All we could tell was they were nervous.
Yeah.
And you could definitely see in the behind the scenes video, like they were doing the Born to Be Wild with Kirk, like very, very, very nervous. And I cannot blame them at all.
And I don't know what this says about Dave Cullinane, but as I'm sitting there and he's talking about Nair and how he nairing his private parts, I just never thought anything of it. I thought that was just a normal conversation.
Yeah.
So whatever that says about Dave, I don't know. But that was a great time. And then we did make that move out of there as we heard the rumblings that the Weston, that's where we were looking to watch the UConn game. That's where Mutt was going to. And that bar did not disappoint.
No.
On our way over there.
Yeah, I first introduced myself to Mick, which I forgot he's never seen me. I've never met him. So that was nice. I do have to say it was not quite a dinner party atmosphere at the bar.
No.
But I was underwhelmed.
It was.
No, again, it was not a dinner party, so I can't hold full judgment there, but
do you think he could have helped behind the bar? Because it seemed like the bartenders
for a little cocktail action.
Bartenders were felt like they were underwater. They were sweating.
Yeah.
They were nervous. He could have stepped in there and helped at any point, and he chose not to. And I don't know why. They needed him big time.
Yeah.
I mean, if he came over to me and asked me, how's the weather out there or something, I would have felt more comfortable at the bar myself. I'm disappointed I didn't get to meet him. I saw him in there. He's a very interesting looking dude for sure. I wanted to get to cousin Christian because that's my guy. That's who I wanted to talk to.
Yeah.
So I'm very disappointed I didn't get to meet either one of them. So my beyond average days are numbered here. I don't know if I'm ever going to get on their show, but that bar, it was jam packed, but only jam packed on one side.
Yeah.
That was the best part. So
it was like
the
animals in the zoo, and then everyone is kind of watching from the outside. So the zoo animals were Mutt and Jeff were like in the corner with Casey, and then Steve from Gloucester a little bit more on the outside.
Cullinane was with them too. Don't forget
Cullinane. He was really insulated. Talking to some. No comment. And Drip Lord was over there. I know he was talking to Casey for a bit. So I couldn't not meet Steve. Steve from Gloucester. So I go over. He's talking to someone. I don't care. I interrupt. Put my hand on his shoulder. Ziggy, go to shake his hand. He goes, no. We're hugging. So he gives me a big hug. And I'm talking to him for like 30 seconds. And Casey's behind him. Mm-hmm. And I kid you not, he turns, goes to put his hand on the small of her back.
Oh boy.
As if like they're married. And it's like, oh, honey, you need to meet Ziggy here. And I stopped. I was like, Steve, I don't care to meet Casey Smith. Like I'm not a simp here. But it was a surreal moment. He was very comfortable around her, which was just a, you knew what was coming next. You knew what was coming later on. So it made sense why you're so excited to be around her.
You could feel the weight of the bar. Everyone was shifted over there. Everyone was watching them. It was the biggest Minifan celebrities I've ever seen, with Cullinane, with Mutt, with Casey, and then with the Pope right there. And everybody's watching. And so I was inspired. And this is when I felt really bad. I actually felt bad. I have feelings at sometimes, and sometimes I feel bad about these things. So I moseyed on over after you were over there.
Yep.
And I had a plan. I had a great plan. I thought it was
a bit.
a great
One
idea.
might call it a bit.
It might have been a bit where I was going to go over and I was going to ask Casey to take a picture for me. I was going to ask Casey for a picture, and I was going to hand her my phone and have her take a picture of me with Steve from Gloucester. That's what I wanted. I wanted to meet the Pope. I, like you, was not really interested in Casey. I wanted to meet the Pope. And so I thought maybe a picture, that might be a funny little bit to do. And so I walked over there. There was no way I was going to get to Casey because she was really insulated. Mutt was doing a good job of protecting her. Jeff D-Lo was there too. So there was no way, and there was a ton of dudes in there, and they're all staring at her. There was no way I was going to get over there. So I go over, and there's the Mutt man, and he's very approachable. He and I are boys, so I knew I could get him. So He grabs my phone. I ask him to take if I can have a picture. And then so I pull up on the Pope and I say, "Hey, Steve, Red for Maine, buddy. Listen, great to meet you. I'd like to get a picture." And so I got a photo with him, but there was no laughs. There was no laughs.
Yeah,
Nobody had any fun. So I got this picture with my guy, and
Wait, so
nobody.
who took a Mutt?
And Mutt took it, and you can see Casey's right there.
Yeah.
Casey's right there, and she at no point acknowledged it. She had no idea what was going on. Jeff D. Lowe was not acknowledging it either. I think he was weirded out. So there was no laughs to be had. Then I felt bad, like I was making Mutt feel bad, or maybe Steve feeling bad for getting the photo. It was a total fail.
Not the first time you've made a joke that didn't land. I heard about this.
Won't be the last.
I heard about this plan, and I just kind of let it play out.
Thank you for.
I knew it was
going
to
to
bomb.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
fine.
Jeff was like the most. He was like the queen in chess. Like he was like, or the king, the queen, the king. He was like way back in the corner, like tucked in. Everyone was around him. Needed to make sure everyone knew that he was very into the game.
Hey, listen, he bleeds blue here. Okay, he's all about those Huskies. Don't get in his way. Don't stop him. All right. So he's into it. So that was an epic fail, but it was a great scene. I got to meet Liz. I got to meet I met Roscoe. He's a very nice guy, but he wanted to talk about Sheldon the entire time. So that was disappointing. I was wanted to say like, hey, I'm a very nice person too. You can talk about me as well. No dice there. That's okay. And then I felt bad because I was going to introduce you and Harlan, but then I felt like I was going to be doing something wrong by outing you guys right there. So I
appreciate the concern, but I can hold my own.
I'm a nice guy. So
yeah,
it was a great time.
Yeah, you're a great guy. Great guy.
Great guy. Thank you. Yeah. And then so I met BA. BA is a very nice guy. He was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He didn't say what it was. Again, not a Montante move, but he did not say what it was, but he said he made a comment about needing to go get dressed, insinuating he had a role in the show. And I guess it got cut. Right. I don't know if it got cut because Kirk got the same vibes that we got at the bar from him, or if it just went long. The show did go long, so it wasn't a surprise, but yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Nice guy, though. I wish I could have hung out with him more.
I know. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Very funny. He seems to be taking this all very well and seems to be handling it very well, the stardom that he has.
Oh, and he's down bad sick too. I don't know if he got the shingles or what, but
oh no.
Could not host Mike and the Minifans. I guess he's been sick all week, so feel better.
Listen, I mean, everybody was going to shake Mutt's hand. I don't think anybody was worried about the shingles at all. Even Pat Ford wasn't concerned at all. So
yeah,
it is what it is. So
we onto the show.
Yeah, onto the show.
Onto the show.
So, what were your initial thoughts as we're going in there? We're getting ready the intro video.
Yeah, I wonder how many people missed the intro video because it started like right at 8 and. I feel like there was a long line behind us, and then the security took forever to get through. We didn't miss it, but we were close to missing some of it. Totally. The stuff that jumped out from the opening. I mean, obviously, Mutt like running the Mutt Empire, whatever it was, but then going to the car and then needing Kirk to do the breathalyzer to start the car. That was perfect comedic timing by Mutt, and then Kirk like going and doing it. Coleman and Clemmer holding hands, like that was an underrated part of it.
Very good.
When they came up and then Montante, like, can't stress enough, terrible actor. I think we talked after, like, I didn't really get, it was hard to hear that part of it in the car.
Yes.
And I didn't know like what the blue wig was. And, but yeah,
the laughs were big for it. I think everybody was anticipating Kirk having to earn his ride there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The blue hair,
that threw me off. Like, am I missing a joke? My brain was like running, like what's going on? What am I missing? But that was like the only part of the show other than they mentioned like the Bubba line that people were laughing. That was the only part I couldn't hear was like the Montante scenes. But people were coming in and out of their seats too at that point. So there was a lot of commotion.
And Mick's part, obviously Mike had mentioned it on the Monday show, but Mick was great. Gus was fantastic. Gus was legitimately creepy in that thing. Like he was absolutely terrifying. He was Kathy Bates. There is no doubt. Yeah. I am worried about what Gus's next move was, because not only was he terrifying there, but he sounds like the worst husband there's ever been too. So I don't know what Gus is going to be doing in 20 years. I'm guessing he's going to be single, and I'm guessing he's going to be kidnapping some Minifans somewhere.
It was a couple weeks ago. Kirk tweeted out like, "I'm about to do something that's risking my life for the show. And for some reason, I thought I don't know what put this there, but I thought it was something to do with him like jumping from the balcony. But I hadn't been to. That would make sense at Plymouth or even at the Wilbur. I think there'd be a part like to those side areas. So it obviously made no sense at Portland because he's not going to jump to those little fake things. So that was the only thing I could think. Like he's actually risking his life, but it was just I'm assuming him just going to Gus's house was him risking was that whole ordeal, was him risking his life to film that. So
where do you stand as a Minifan who got to see that video? Because I thought that video was legitimately like hilarious.
Like where to on releasing it,
whether to release it or not, because we got the opportunity to see it. Like,
yeah, I think something like that, release it. If they had recorded the whole show, I would still be against like recording the whole show or releasing the whole show because it wouldn't really. It's just you have to be there to experience it. But a video like that plays, I think all the videos probably should be released.
Okay.
Because they were all very well done.
Even Steve Robinson. I mean, the Steve Robinson part in that video. Do you want that released? Or?
Oh, and the first, yeah. I mean, he was a dud the entire night. He was a dud.
I forgot he was in there for a second. I had it in my notes. Yeah. That was
when I was watching the behind the scenes thing today, I was like, why is Steve wearing that the headband or the sweatband? And why is he running in with Kirk? Like I totally forgot about the entrance because it's just such a zero part of the video.
Yeah, that's too bad. And he was absolutely hammered too. Yeah. And those boos were very loud.
Oh yeah, yeah, very surprising. Very surprising. I have a couple of Steve thoughts later, but speaking of boos, the first thing that surprised me was Steve from Gloucester not getting. I don't think I heard a single boo, which I feel like a month or two ago he definitely would have gotten some boos because I feel like the Minifans did not like Steve, and I don't know if it's just his last appearance. Or like the Mayo going after him, like endeared the fans towards Steve, but that was nice to hear. Not a boo in the house. And then the Autumn chant,
that was great.
And BA wanted, BA wanted to take credit
finish.
for starting the Autumn chant. So I just gotta get that.
You wanted credit for that? That's unlike him to want credit for those things. That's unlike him.
I DM'd him after. I was like, great show. And he's like, great show. I started the Autumn chant.
Of course you did. So we were talking about this at one of the bars. So after meeting Steve, because we met him, we went across the bar, we went over to talk to him. He then came back over. He took time out from his conversation with Casey, which I really appreciate, to come over and talk to us there. And again, like just a genuinely nice guy. So I have to ask, like, why would anybody hate this guy? I don't understand. Like,
I think
whether it's Cinema Lord or whoever else, like what's the hate about here for this guy?
I think Sheldon early on wasn't a big fan. Like early on when we started the rundown, I remember I had the intro as Steve and it was going to be kind of a surprise. And I think at that point there was some animosity. Okay. I think he's a big character. He's a big personality and playing up, he's said it himself. He's kind of played up the Italian thing in the beginning. And so I think that probably rubbed people the wrong way, but yeah, he's like the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Phenomenal.
The thing that stuck out from the behind the scenes was it seemed like Casey really had no idea what the plan was up until Saturday morning, which is kind of like a big risk by Kirk to just assume she's going to go along with like dancing with, I mean, Steve, again, the nicest guy. But I mean, you can see him behind. He looks like a Minifan, right?
Great
Casey's Casey Smith.
Yeah.
So I feel like she easily it would have been understandable if she had said like, I think I'm good on this one. Like, what else do you got for me?
Yeah. Like,
which I guess would have been the stand-up thing, right? They said, Kirk said she would be doing Mayo stand-up, which that probably would have played as well.
That would have been great. Hands on her waist, kind of like you got to do the whole dirty dancing thing. Like that is, that's a tall ask for her. Good for her, man. I mean, you've hated on her relentlessly, Ziggy. So
I don't know about hate.
You got to give her some credit there for going.
Yeah, good. Yeah, sure. Yeah, good sport. Good sport.
There you go. That was nice of you. Yeah, yeah. But okay, so here's what I got to ask. What's your opinion of all the songs? Because I do enjoy the song breaks. Maybe not because of wanting to listen to all the songs necessarily, but it is important when it's a 2 hours. Like if you're going to
240, I think we ended at like 240.
Right, 240. Like if you're going to a Springsteen show, like I remember going to Gillette in 2016, like I had to hit the bathroom a couple of times because I mean Bruce is going, he's performing, you gotta hit the head at least once before you hit the road. So at least with the songs, like you get an opportunity to get a little bathroom break in there. You know?
Yeah.
But
So when
there's
you
a lot
ask
of
a question
songs.
like that, it kind of seems like you don't like the songs. When you're like,
No.
Okay,
I'm saying I do. I like the bathroom
No,
break part of it, and
okay,
also
okay.
the song
Well,
is fine too. But
what's funny is like you would think there'd be something like a song to give Kirk a break to do like a costume change, but I guess he did that during maybe Justin's and Mike's like Steve Unit's segment. Yeah, I think the songs are great because it's just like Kirk. I think it comes from Kirk wanting to put on a show and getting that like fan interaction, like coming all the way up to the balcony.
yes,
I think you would agree with me that we're glad he didn't actually come right by our section
totally.
because I'm not, I don't sit front row for a reason.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't, did he do a Bruce song? He mentioned to Steve in the video, he wasn't going to do a Bruce. I can't remember all the songs now.
I know. I don't think there was a Bruce song in there.
He did have a couple Bruce moments like that. I don't like, do you want to go home? I don't want to go home. Like that's a Bruce thing. And at the end, he said like, see you further down the road. I mean, it is like, it's him living out his Bruce cosplay fan play, like
Totally.
in the shower singing, like that's what it's for. It's for Kirk. That's like the part of the show that's for Kirk. I do think if I had to criticize like and they said it, like the Steve Unit segment went on a little too long. The Justin thing went on a little too long for everyone's liking. Intentionally, I think.
Oh man, there were some pictures in there where I was like,
it was nice that they threw some of those like every 10th photo, so it really caught you off guard.
yeah, that was great. I like the Justin song going long. Justin could have added some different dance moves in there, but you know, other than that, that's totally fine. Like he's embracing it, he's going for it. I was wondering, like, is anybody in the security, like, is anybody here at the State Theater?
I was thinking the same thing.
Gonna have a problem with this because I mean, there's like stillborn babies. There was like, it was unbelievable. I think you're trying to accuse me of being contrarian on the songs. I love the again. I love the songs.
All right.
And Mutt and Kirk,
unbelievable.
And so do you know who that rapper is?
Gosh, I heard it today too. I heard them say it.
Yeah.
Heavy MC.
No.
Is that right? No.
Is
that a person?
I think you're getting like, there's a Heavy D is a
because we were talking about this last week when I intentionally messed up NWA and
I don't want to talk about this again. I don't want to do this. I don't want you to do this. This is brutal. But I'll tell you this.
Young MC.
There you go.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I just want to say this. I'm going to get one hip hop take right off the bat here. Okay, thank you. So just give me the room here. I will say, when it comes to Mutt and Kirk, if I can compare them to any rap duo, it would be Outkast. And I feel confidently in saying this, that in Outkast, Big Boy, great rapper, Andre 3000, one of the greatest rappers of all time. I'm giving Mutt would be the Andre 3000 of that group because Kirk did a good job, no doubt. But Mutt crushed it on his second verse, and he went for it, and he was going, and he was all the way in. Mutt did a great job. With
Mutt's hat, the obvious comparison to me is Michael Scott and Dwight doing the Scranton. What is Scranton? That rap. The funniest part of that behind the scenes video was their I forget who was it that was doing the filming and asking the questions. I can't remember his name. The meat cutter. Shane was going to like around like with your live reaction, and right before he gets to Kirk, you see Mutt like bitching about the money gun. Like he's such a perfectionist. It was like it fucked up my whole performance.
So pissed.
Mutt came out like shot out of a cannon, just again on the bad leg. He was saying how bad the shingles like affect his leg, limping around Portland. Unreal performance by Mutt. Not a surprise, but again, I said it last week. The image of him at Plymouth dancing like was etched in my memory. It's the same thing. He like somehow he topped it. I think I made a bold prediction last week. He would be the star of the show. He'd steal it. I think he stole it. I think he stole the spotlight from Kirk on that song.
He definitely did. So props to him, and looking good, man. Looking good in that tee. And like you said, like he was hurting walking around, but you couldn't tell that in his performance. He's a gamer. Yep. So Mutt did a great job.
One thing I was taking some notes during the show because I didn't know if we were going to record after. So Chris Coleman comes out, and I write Electric, Chris Coleman Electric, which must have been like 5 seconds after he came out. And then the other 5 minutes were like the opposite of Electric. I also wrote down that he gave off Randy Quaid vibes. So that must have been in the like 5-second Electric part. I don't remember why I said that, but
does that make Coleman Dennis Quaid?
That's true. That's not great.
Wow. Okay.
So that's not great. But that was it. It was he didn't pick like the right participant. Like he picked a pretty lady. I feel like you pick like a fat Minifan.
Totally.
Instead. Like someone that we know maybe might have been that's not his fault, but that might have been better.
There was no magic actually going on there. The only thing that he did, I think I joked, I'm going to use the joke. I'm going to run the joke back. I don't care. The only thing that he made disappear was the momentum of the show. Cause he absolutely, he was awful as a magician. Well, he could have been, and I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise, Ziggy. I'm guessing you haven't. I've been on a couple of cruises before. He would be a great magician on a cruise. That's where he belongs. And I hope he gets there.
Yeah.
It was
the best part was Kirk heckling him from the crowd.
Like it was not good.
Yeah.
That, and I did say that the Steve units, between Chris Coleman and the Steve units, those were the two things that just took the show to a grinding, screeching halt. And I'm gonna blame Chris for that. I'm gonna blame Steve for that as well, because Steve was awful during the Steve.
Well, yeah, at one point he like went up to the mic was on the mic stand, and Steve's standing in the middle next to Dave and Gus, and Steve like goes up to grab the mic as if he's gonna like start interjecting. Fortunately, he didn't, but it's like, what are you doing? Like,
the mic's not on, thankfully.
Right.
And I do, and this is where I will give Kirk some criticism, because he's built up Steve like he's like everybody loves him, and not everybody loves him. And he's told
a lot of
he's
booze.
The co-founder of the show, and he's done this and he's done that. Obviously, he's not like a partner, but he's created a monster. Like Steve is an arrogant asshole up on that stage every single time. And he shows up late. He shows up late to the shows that he's supposed to be on. He shows up late when he's supposed to come out, and he's absolutely hammered. Like Kirk has created a monster with Steve.
I would go as far as to say that Kirk is down on Steve right now.
He should be,
and not just right now. Like going forward, I think we will see less of Steve. That's my prediction.
I hope.
Did I hear right? Steve brought Ziggy, like his freaking dog. Like, come on, what are we doing?
Brought a dog to a hotel.
Yeah, what are we doing?
That's a great hotel.
What are we
doing? What kind of an
asshole
does that?
Also, like, what is the next fan of the show that Steve's going to go after? Like, he went after Bill from Milton with the parking thing at Burlington Mall. Then he goes after No Exit 4. Like, who's next?
Yeah. And I'm sorry, you have an issue with musicians who might happen to be Democrats? Like, is that a surprise? Like,
or they just are busy and that's just not what they do. They just do live performances and they don't want to sit in studio and record what you tell, like, that's what Steve was probably pitching to them for the
Could you guys give me that? So next thing he's going to tell me there's some kind of a bias in the media. Maybe he might clue me in on that. Who knows? Maybe there's a slant in 24-hour news. Who knows? I don't know. Yep. So yeah, bad performance by Steve. Yep. Him and Chris Coleman, they owe us a lot in that show.
I got to give Jeff some credit. The Coleman videos, the campaign videos, which I'm assuming Jeff did. Because they said he did some videos. Those are good. Those are very well done.
Very well done.
And the Stage 6 podcast, the Big Cat one, was tremendous. Like that's the Chicago Barstool difference. Like you have a real editor working on those. You got Big Cat in the makeup. Like those are nice touches. Really put those over the edge. That was probably my favorite non-stage performance. Like of the videos. Polar not making the cut. I always love like hearing from Polar. So maybe they'd release that.
That's too bad. I feel bad for Polar. That's too bad. I saw that the Big Cat video got leaked by a fan. Somebody was putting that out there. I didn't like that. I don't like don't get video and then leak it out. Don't do that. If the show wants to do it, please do it.
No bootlegs.
No, don't bootleg that thing. That's another fan that should have been kicked out, which the kicking out of the fans, where we were sitting. I mean, we're up in the nosebleeds because we're low key and we're cheap.
Right.
I did not think that the second fan got kicked out. I
couldn't tell that.
You couldn't see it. You couldn't tell. So
all I heard was him yell, like, "Were you doing gay stuff with your brother?"
Yeah.
But I guess they were saying like way worse, like the entire show, right in front of Justin's parents.
which triggers the hell out of me because show talkers, and there are a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
Minifans.
There's a guy behind us that was.
Yeah.
quite
Oh yeah.
annoying.
He loved to tell us what was coming up next. He
Yeah.
loved to tell us what. Hey, oh yeah, Mutt's coming out now. It's like, yeah, no shit, dummy. It doesn't take you. You're not a genius. But these guys are just yelling this stuff out. Just shut the fuck up. Who's it? Inspector?
Inspector J.
Yeah, Inspector J, a big time show talker. How about you guys shut the fuck up and just let the show be the show, please? Okay, we're not here to see you. Nobody wants to hear from you. And I like Hoodie. Hoodie seems to be a very nice guy. He was blasted. You could see it from the balcony seats. He was hammered drunk.
Yeah,
Holy
the hecklers are annoying, but the flip side is there's nothing better than a kick him out chant that gets the people going. Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. What else? What else from the show?
Yeah, I'm just seeing if I had anything else on my notes. Kirk down on Steve.
Yeah, big time down.
The last thing, I don't want to bring negativity to this, but
please.
How much willpower does Mick have to not like just bring up the fact that he didn't have a role on stage? Do you think that bothered him?
Oh, it had to have. It had to have bothered Mick. Do you think Montante? I don't think Montante was bothered.
I don't know. I don't know if Montante was part of the BA thing because again, I didn't get any details on that. I don't know if it was like maybe all three of them.
Right.
I feel like if Mick had a role, was said like be prepared for this, and then it was cut, he'd be pretty mad. But again, I don't think he'd say it. Like everything I've heard him say, like he seemed to like really like the whole experience. So again, I don't want to bring negativity on it. Just me being me.
I could see that because Mick he would be passive aggressive about it. So I've seen him a couple times this week. I made sure to check in on his show just to make sure, and he was not passive aggressive about it. The only thing he kept talking about was like, Justin could have done a better job. Coleman could have done this or whatever. He's done a little bit of shots, subtle shots like that. But then when he had Justin on, he kind of backtracked it a little bit too.
Right.
So
and I get back to the opening video, like the pop when the Mick bait, that was probably the best. Like that joke hit the best during the video. So kudos to Mick for that. And I guess to his cousin for having a nice house. I don't know. Look pretty cookie cutter, but that's not a bad thing.
Not
it's
bad.
kind of sad. I recognized the tree.
and the condition of his lawn too. That definitely stood out as well.
Yeah.
The notes I had on the Minifans were Steve from Gloucester, tremendous upper body strength. I mean, he got
he's a big boy. Yeah,
he's a big boy.
Big hands too. I have a screenshot where in the rehearsals, Casey like grabs his hand and it's like she's grabbing like two of his fingers.
Oh yeah, big mitts, big mitts. So that was number one, and then number two, it has been talked about. Unfortunately, even Coleman was talking about it. But I was very impressed with one. The drips have fantastic footwork for being baseball guys. I'm a little biased. I'm not a big baseball guy. For being baseball guys, they got some quick feet and obviously the quick hands. And you gotta love. I gotta give Pat Ford credit. I mean, he is a thick boy, and he was embracing it.
Also John can dance, and Pat not quite as much. So I felt bad.
John's got some moves.
John had some moves. John definitely had some moves.
I think John was holding back his moves.
I think he was too. I think it was
he
just
did
a nice
not
thing.
want Pat to feel bad.
Exactly. Leave no man behind.
That's a great teammate right there.
Yep.
I wish I had some teammates like
the last thing on right after the drip tease, as I call it, Mike's just like, what just happened? He's sitting back there. Yeah.
So could somebody, and I don't know what Julie's doing. I have no idea. Nobody knows. But could somebody like take Mike home? Like he put in a legitimate 12 hours at the State Theater on that Saturday.
And Justin's like, oh, you could have gone home. It's like, well, not really.
Well,
normal. That's not a Justin move. Like Justin takes good care of Mike. I think he was probably just nervous.
He just let Mike sit there. And so like Justin's obviously caught up in the show. He's doing his thing, his prep. I don't know what Julie's doing, but at what point are you going to tell like, hey, Mike, do you want to get you back to the hotel room? Maybe you can do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, he had a big bag of pistachios laying on his bed waiting for him.
He had some nuts at the room. He needed to go eat. There is no doubt. I don't know why they're not thinking of that, number one. And number two, I don't know how many live shows we've done now with Mike, but if somebody could figure out this headphone situation so he could hear Kirk, that would be great. That would be really good.
It is too bad because it was early on in the show. Kirk was like wanted to have a little bit of banter with Justin and Coleman, and they were just icing him out. And Mike can't hear Kirk, so he can't really banter back and forth. But one of these shows, they'll figure it out.
Now,
I'm confident.
I don't want to go. I don't want to reveal anything as we were talking during the live show, but it seemed like you were a little negative on Jeff Delo's text messages there. It seemed like it was
Oh
maybe-
yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you. Thanks for running. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
good
I think it's
teammate.
a case of him just overhyping a story. Like if that just was a natural story that came up on the show, sure. But he hyped it up like it was like some groundbreaking thing. It wasn't. First, I forgot it. You couldn't really read the text messages. So that was one thing.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, it was just a little bit of a letdown. I guess it's funny, but again, it's not. It's just a victim of overhyping.
I agree. I concur. I think you were right on there. Yeah. So those are my notes from the show. Other than, of course, I mean, thankfully this didn't get cut, but Dave Cullinane's TikTok video on Coleman was phenomenal. I have no idea why he thought it wasn't that good. He was talking about that at the bar. He was saying how, I think maybe he was just managing expectations, which it's a wise move, undersell and over deliver. Maybe that's what he was doing, which is big time when it comes to the real estate business. So he knows what he's doing there. But that video was great. That was a killer video.
Killer video.
It got a big pop, as they said. How triggering was it for you listening to Monday's show and hearing them talk about how the pops were? There was a lot of pop talk.
You're actually popping like crazy on this episode.
I'm popping too.
I just don't care.
Okay.
The last thing I'll say on Portland, then we can move on because I know we got some other stuff to get to. I thought it was funny in the rehearsal. Kirk's like working with no X4 and kind of going through everything, and he kicked off like a 1, 2, 3, 4. But it wasn't just a laid back 1, 2, 3, 4 to kick off the band. It was like full bore, like screaming it. And they say practice makes perfect, but it's really, as you know, Coach, perfect practice makes perfect. And that was there was no half-assing that rehearsal.
No. Although I gotta say, No Exit 4. The fact that they don't like Steve, I'm a big fan.
Right. Yep.
I don't think they can play hip hop music. That was another note that I had. I think they were thrown off by the beat, which threw Kirk off on the beat.
Yeah.
So
they're pros though. Kirk and Mud are pros. So
they're pros.
They persevered.
I gotta criticize No Exit 4 there. I don't know if they had the beat down, but that's okay. That's okay. They're doing the best they can. Any other notes from the show?
Don't think so.
No. Okay.
Great show. Right. Redemption.
Great show.
Fine. I'll have if you twist my arm, I'll give you one more thing. It would have been perfect. Kirk gets down one knee, redemption, and then Bobby Costa comes out and says that would have been the cherry on top. This is kind of funny. He just didn't know he wasn't checking his phone.
That's great. That would have been awesome. All right. So Monday's show. You know what I found interesting? So they're coming in. Obviously, they're going to shit on the haters, which, I mean, ridiculous. The people that want to speculate on somebody's sobriety, I don't know. I don't know what that bit is. It's an odd one, but it is what it is. So I know they were going to address that, but it seemed like Kirk was, trying to calm Justin and Coleman down here. He seems to still be kind of down on those two. I mean, overall for their performance, the Justin and Coleman performance, if you were going to grade them, Ziggy, if you're going to give them some kind of a grade
for Portland or in general,
for the Portland live show.
Yeah, I thought you're popping like crazy. Now it's bothering me.
Well, I don't know. What would you have me do? Do you want me to get
maybe move back a little bit from the mic?
Okay, is this good?
Sounds fine.
Okay, so I'll sit right here. What was your grade for the show?
I mean, execution, I guess, A-. Like getting everything. There was one time where they kind of missed the cue that Kirk was kind of setting them up for.
Right.
They brought nothing to the actual on stage with the microphone, so I guess not applicable there.
Just absolutely
terrified. F, I guess.
Terrified.
But no, I think Justin this week he went on Monday, and then the producer show, and then Mick's show. Kind of like a soldier coming back from war. He went through it.
Right.
I mean, it was all mental. He psyched himself up. But I'm happy for him. They got through it. Coleman, Gus made the analogy on Mike and the Minifans. Coleman's like a duck, calm above water. And they're all that's an amazing analogy. Gus made it up on the spot.
You can tell that was
Gus
coming.
Just made that up. I don't know. I think they're B+. Sure.
Low expectations. Have you ever taken your wife anywhere to a function where she might have been like out of place and just like kind of like left her in these areas. I'm still like,
with Gus, yeah, the whole green room looked like social anxiety off the charts. Like you have Casey being interviewed by Shane, and then Chris Coleman in the back just looking like he wants to be anywhere else in the world.
right.
And then you got Steve like drunk, slurring his words, sitting across. Like that's the last place I'd ever want to be, is in that in that room. And then you have like the random winner. I guess wasn't Oatzello supposed to be one of the other guys there? I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, who knows?
But
Oatzello and Chris Coleman, those dudes loved the ladies. They would have made a killing that night, I'm sure. I'm just amazed, like, and good for Mutt for taking care of Gus's wife. I guess like that's a good man right there. But like,
or she was napping. Who knows? She's probably napping.
She's probably napping. Who knows? Who knows? But I don't know what the hell's going on with Gus, man. I don't know what he's doing. He's not going to get a job, and he's probably not going to have a wife. And I don't know if you saw on Twitter, I think you probably did, on the ride home, they had a flat tire.
Yeah, he's just sitting there.
Those were the baldest tires I've ever seen on a car. That was insane. Those things should have been replaced 2 years ago. Like, if you go through like states like Florida where they don't have any state inspections, you got cars that are in disrepair, no doubt. But Gus's car, I don't know how that passes any inspection anywhere. That was insane. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. All right, so Monday's show, we get a little bit of that little bit of criticism for Coleman and for Justin. I was pleasantly surprised that Mike kind of pushed back a little bit on Kirk there and said, like, hey man, like these guys were fighting for their lives, trying to save their jobs out there. Let them relax a little bit, have some fun. But I don't know what you thought.
I think Mike shined in that episode because there's nothing Mike loves more than telling behind the scenes stories. He kept saying like, oh, like that's another great story. And then it wasn't that great of a story, but he loves the behind the scenes stuff. Like when they go out to lunch after or before Milton's, he's like taking mental notes of everything that just like Kirk does too. So I honestly, I don't even remember him pushing back there.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking back. I can't get out of my head, like Mayo, not to bring him up, but Mayo like wanting it in writing what they would have to do to get fired, which I'm sure was in Justin's head. Like, again, totally psyched himself out, like running through the checklist. Okay, if I do this and this, but I don't do this, I'm out of a job.
Is this a good spot to talk about Mayo for briefly if we want
it's never
to?
a good spot, but sure.
Because
it ties back to me. So yeah, we can do it.
It's coming back. It's coming back to you. I thought you might like that. And it's too bad Sheldon's not here. I'm disappointed he can't enjoy this, but you really chased off Mayo. You really did it. You killed him in the last episode.
I mean, I know Sheldon killed him, but you expect that from Sheldon. So
of course. And then you just came through and you undercut him.
Yeah, you expect me to zig, I zag. It's just what I do.
You absolutely
took him out at the knees. Yeah.
And now he's gone. And now he's gone from Twitter.
Pelt on the belt.
I mean, what do you? Are you proud of yourself? Are you happy with yourself?
I'm happy that other fans are happy. I feel a little bad for Mayo, but he'll be back. I mean, he's a cockroach. You cannot kill that guy. He's addicted to KMS, so he will be back. Probably, unfortunately, stronger than ever.
There's a Mayo Angel Reese comparison that I have where it's like, if you want to be the bad guy, you got to be the bad guy, and you can't run away and do that thing. That's all that I'm saying. So Angel Reese, Mayo, I mean, come on, be better. Let's stick around. You're not a victim. Okay.
Yep.
That's all I'll say. Anyway, what else from Monday's show?
I honestly didn't have a ton. It was surprising to hear Coleman. I think it was on that show is when Justin said it was Coleman's 6-month anniversary. That did surprise me. It didn't feel like it's been that long. I don't know if it's time flies when you're having fun or it's all just kind of blended together, with the Coleman experience. So I don't know. I was going to ask you, have your opinions changed since he started to now?
I'm not a Cole man.
No,
I'm not.
We wouldn't have you even if you wanted to join.
Thank you. Because he still has some Steve Robinson tendencies that you're ignoring, and I'm fine with that. You're going to ignore it. I won't. I'm going to keep an eye on him. But I will say the dude has a good sense of humor. He can take a punch. He's not as sensitive as Jeff D'Lo tries to make him out to be.
No.
And he got booed the entire show. and I thought he handled it very well, sitting there with his smile on his face. I think if he develops some confidence to chime in a little bit more during the live shows, I think that'll help, because I don't think Justin will ever get there, and I don't blame him. Justin's rightfully just like trying to like make sure everything video plays and everything else. So I think Coleman's got a ways to go, but I think I'm happy Coleman's around. I'll say that.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a moment.
Mm-hmm.
What a moment. Yeah. I would say, I think he's probably maybe plateaued a little bit, but I mean, growth isn't, again, gosh, I really am Mayo. Growth isn't linear. It's not linear. I mean, it's got its ups and downs.
Sure.
Hard worker, like you said. The topics can always be better, but that's not just Coleman gets the crap for that, but it's like a 2-man booth back there. So
yeah, but the topics thing. So what is he supposed to do? So he gets criticized for anything that he talks about when it comes to Barstool,
which I don't have an issue with that, because I like the Barstool
I don't either.
drama.
But it's like it's like he's Kirk's done a great job of boxing him in. So he can't do like Barstool stuff. He can't do like Barstool adjacent stuff.
Right.
And he can't talk politics or social issues.
But he is still trying to do those.
What if you could think of a random topic this week, what topic would he bring up in that situation?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to defend.
I'm not conditioned to think like that. If you're going politics, like, it's simple. Don't bring up a Trump story. Just play a Trump drop, and like that will usually always play. But it is a hard job to come up with topics. Dave, I think, was good at it, because he just like, I don't know. I don't know. You can't even put into words how good he was at that.
Oh, so good.
So good. But I will say this, and again, this is not just a Coleman thing. It's a 2-man booth, but the Twitter account just stinks. And so I don't know if it's like putting more effort into that, or you get someone that knows the show, not an intern that can just cut clips that doesn't get the show, but someone that knows the show running the account. And that's risky, because you get a Mike Thierry in there that's like tweeting at Jamel Hill or whatever, but it's risky. But if you can find someone that gets social media, gets the show, and you can trust, and just give them free reign of the Twitter account.
Who are you going to find that knows the show more than Justin, though? I mean, if Justin
obviously knows the show, but I don't know, maybe they're just afraid to let it fly and get criticized. So maybe you need someone that doesn't care. Because if you remember, Kirk put like a moratorium on them tweeting non-videos. I'm sure Kirk wouldn't care now if they tweeted non-videos, but I don't know if in the back of their head they still have that, like Kirk yelling at them, like, just tweet videos, you suck at Twitter. But someone needs to do it.
Sucking at Twitter also is great conversation on the show. So I think there's some positive.
Wait, what was that tweet? That was a stupid tweet, but that's still funny on the show. Like, that's almost a topic to bring to the table.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going, because we thought this was going to be a short one.
And
we are providing for the Minifans.
We're going along here.
No days off, no weeks off, except for Sheldon.
God, not blue collar, apparently. Not blue collar. No.
I'm a farmer.
Do you want to talk about the first date?
Sure.
First date. Blind date.
Yes.
First date. Who knows? Mike, confident Mike.
Yep. Varsity quarterback.
Varsity quarterback Mike. Look, I love to see it. I love it.
He had a fresh cut, right? Fresh fade on the beard and the hair, and he had the Minifan hat. That was a nice touch.
Right.
His best Milton shirt. Yep.
This is what I know, and props to Craig for losing all that weight. But if Craig is a good laugher, if you put a nice set of breasts and a good laugh in front of Mike, he's 10 feet tall and bulletproof. So Craig, I don't know what maybe put on some more pounds or something, buddy, because he needs that in the worst way. Because he was great.
What's funny is Mike is like, I've always said, he's the laugh track of KMS. Like, when I used to call, if I'd call in a non-Mike episode, it was terrifying, because you wouldn't get that automatic laugh that you'd get from Mike. And early on, he said, like, I like a girl with a good laugh, which Lauren Compton does not have. She has a terrible laugh. But she's a laugher. Someone had mentioned like Mike should be a part of that world, or that should be a part of that podcast or whatever, which it would be funny if he were just like one of the people in the background doing the laughing and that was his only role. Yeah, I mean, she laughs at literally everything, like joke or not joke. She's laughing, and Mike, gave him so much confidence to just keep, especially the blind jokes. Like, he saw that she laughed. She loved well, what do you mean? I'm blind. Like I can't. Like he just kept going for it. He just
Mike is feeling good when he kind of perks up a little bit. All of a sudden, like his posture is better, and you could see him perking up with every laugh. And he is just like he just keeps going. He'll just add another blind joke in there that's not really a joke, and she is just dying laughing.
Yeah. Do you see this guy? Oh, I can't see.
Yeah.
Got to give credit, Don the Jeweler getting a shout out from both of them, because without
Huge.
Don, without Red, Don,
listen,
doesn't happen. We don't get that episode.
Yeah, Don, we made it, buddy. We did it. Thank you, Don. We done a great job. We also got we got blocked. I mean, Don got blocked by Menners too, which is also, I mean, just a stellar week. If Kirk's having the best week with the live show, Don, I think, is a close number 2 right there. And then I put Mutt 3. Those are my top 3. So great job, Don. I didn't hang in for too much of that first 8 show. I couldn't do too much, but the laugh got to be too much.
It kind of picked up at the end. She did this well, first off, it started where she's like, "Oh, I do an appetizer question and a main course and a dessert question." And at that point, I could just picture Mike thinking, "Oh, they're gonna destroy me for doing this show. Like this is gonna be the cheesiest thing." I mean, it was pretty cheesy, but at the end, she was doing some rapid fire questions, and they were really dumb questions, and Mike was kind of giving it back to her. So that was a good moment for Mike.
You're pretty in tune with the numbies. She does numbies online, doesn't she?
I'm sure her TikTok or Instagram, I think, is probably her biggest. But yeah, I was thinking Mike's video did 90K on YouTube, and that's only a week old, so that's going to continue to grow.
Yeah,
especially next week, or whenever they do a KMS again, they'll talk about it, and then fans will go and actually maybe go back and watch some of it. Right. And it was 2 weeks before Louis J. Gomez did an episode, and that's Mike's idol, and I think it was 150K. So good company that Mike is in.
Do we lose Mike from the KMS world? I mean, does this propel him?
I don't think so. He was very mindful to say, and I do the Kirk Minahan show twice a week. He was very, very important that he got that out there. I would be happy if he went off and really exploded. That would make me very happy. Because do
you think Mike needs to? This is what I was thinking about. How confident he was. He was so happy. He was so, and not that he's not happy on Kirk's show. Yeah, but it was a different Mike, man. I don't know.
So
which Mike? The duality of man. The duality of Mike here.
Mike's in a good spot. So that's 2021 Red talk. I don't want to get back. We had some blind Mike debates back in the day. We had some blind Mike debates back in the day.
I'm only asking the question, Ziggy. I'm just asking the question. You don't have to don't get so defensive.
Here's a hot take. If Mike really blew up and had to put more of his time into his own Blind Mike project, there's only so many hours in the day to listen to 4 KMS episodes in a week. So there's only that didn't make any sense, but you get what I'm saying. It could get to a point where he doesn't have the time to be up to speed on KMS to then come on the show twice a week to talk about the show. I don't think he'd come in if he weren't keeping up with the show. But again, if he has to listen to other stuff for his own for Blind Mike project, I could see a world where maybe that. But again, that's a clean break. Be very happy for Mike if that were to happen. But I hope not. I mean, obviously, I think we both agree he's the best non-Kirk part of KMS.
Totally. And then Mutt's right behind him. So I think I love the show with Mike. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just asking the questions again.
I'm going to throw another hot take because I've been sitting on this. It's really not hot, but I think Mike's bullets are wasted on a Monday and a Tuesday because there's not that much to react to, especially on the second show that he does. If you when we're prepping for the rundown and I'm looking back at some of my notes, I feel like I don't have a lot of Mike stuff because it just gets the first show of the week. There's no plot yet of there's no storylines going on. So it's just Mike making some jokes, good lighthearted episode. But was it last week? He was then on the Friday or maybe Thursday. I would like to bookend the week with Mike so that you get the early on stuff. And then at the end, you can get his Mike's takes on KMS are very they're top tier. So if you can get those at the end of the week, I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
I agree. I think a Mutt Friday as well is great, and maybe that's just because I also love the EEI days, but Mutt on a Friday is great. I think a Mutt and Mike Friday, and then a Mike Thursday,
and they're reading off the Mutt stack and Oh, that'd be great. That would be
that would be great. And then you have some of those random Minifans earlier in the week.
Yeah, and then they can make fun of the random Minifans later on, and like Mike can kind of pick
gives them a lot to react to because Mike's gonna be better reacting to those random Minifans at the end of the week. I agree, and that's not the hottest take, Ziggy, but that's a good take.
Thank you.
That's a good take. Anything else from the week? I know that I love the drips in the office. Still my favorite show. I'm holding out hope that Beyond Average Mick and the Beyond Average podcast, I'm holding out hope that show takes the next step. It's right there for me. It's right there. It's really close to taking that jump. But those are the two shows that I'm listening to. I don't know if you're listening to anything else. I partake in the Confused Duck as well.
Yep.
But those are the episodes that I'm checking out.
Yeah, Drips. I gave John a little bit of guff because I'm kind of an Excel snob, so he was talking a big game, but I told him it'd be best for our friendship, our mini friendship, if I didn't comment on his Excel talk.
God, that must have been such a hot, like blazing criticism that you must have had for his Excel. That must have been so brutal. Oh no, man.
He knows his stuff. Pat, on the other hand, he's a lost cause, I think, but he doesn't pretend to know it.
I mean, Pat could have helped us out with parking. I do know that. I was a little nervous about parking. I know Mayo was so nervous too about getting in there, and he didn't even show up. So
Red, we're at an hour, and I have something good, right?
I do.
I have something like a lead that has been absolutely buried here.
Give it to me.
So do we save it till next week if we do a show next week? Or do we just keep powering through, give the fans some content leading into next week?
I maybe could you give us like a little bit?
It's a tough thing to tease. It's like you either don't go in the water at all, or you just do an absolute cannonball in there.
I'm going to lean on you. I know what I want.
I really want to do it too, but I'd be remiss. I have some random notes, so I got to get to the random notes.
Okay,
Let's do that, and then we'll see where we're at.
Okay.
Coleman tried to give a random note. I don't know if you heard him. I'm pretty sure he said he had a random note, or he started to say it, and it was Mama K's daughter being so you got to come with stronger random notes if you're gonna use that terminology.
And as Coleman too, this is the second time he's kind of pulling from the rundown. We know he's a rundown guy because he also did the worst tweet by Mayo of the week. So he's a rundown guy, which I love. I don't want them playing sound from the rundown. That's not what I want. No. I know other Minifans love that. I love that they're talking about things that we've talked about on the rundown. They're kind of like pulling a little bit. That's the good stuff. So Coleman, thank you for borrowing from us. Thank you.
It's the dirty little secret is Kirk steals all of our takes, but he doesn't give us credit. But we don't want the credit.
No, that's not what we're here for. No.
Justin, I don't know if you heard on, I think it was on when he was in Beyond Average, when he went to mix abode. He said that he went on Monday night to a casino and played Texas Hold'em and lost $600. Did you hear this?
I heard that. Yeah,
that's a little interesting. I mean, what is he like? There's a lot to unpack there. I'm not sure if I'm the person to unpack it, but someone should. And he also said on Monday, one of the things he was going to be doing this week was driving the dozen trophy to New York. Is that was it Jeff's concern that it wouldn't UPS couldn't handle that, or is that Justin's concern, or you just wanted to go for a drive?
It's an expensive trophy. I guess he's got to get it there. Do you think, does he buckle it in the front seat, or does he put it in the back seat?
The back seat's a mess. But it also has that big plushy.
It's got that big plush teddy bear, right?
Yeah, that big. Yeah, so maybe that can give some. And Justin does. I think I'm doing a 180. I think Justin's going to win the weight loss because he's looking pretty good and walking 13K tonight.
Did you see that 13K video? How big his head is compared to how small his body is? He's got Rob Bradford stuff going on there. Like he's losing a ton.
I hope Coleman watched that and it gave him some inspiration.
Coleman, you got to get your body smaller and your head bigger, my friend, because Justin is killing it right now.
Oh man, I'm looking at my notes. I have this like great nugget. I mean, it could just turn the Minifan world upside down, but then I have something else I got to get to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Give it to me.
Last week, this isn't the good thing. I got to get this out there though. Okay. Last week, I said that my sources were telling me that Coleman's screw up for Portland was overblown. That's what my sources were saying.
Mm-hmm. And
then I also said, obviously, Jeff D'Lo had to make sure everyone knew that he knew it. That it was terrible. And it was really bad. And I mentioned something about, well, first off, I got to say hashtag Ziggy sources were right. Like it was overblown. Sending a 20-minute cut when Kirk wanted like an 11, 12-minute. That's not that bad.
No.
Come on. More is better. And then you can just cut it. You can cut it down. Anyway, the bigger story is, I guess, me saying that Jeff was talking about this in a Minifan chat might have turned that chat on fire. And there were some chickens with their heads cut off running around trying to find the rat. I just want it on record. And I literally overheard people in Portland talking about this. So this isn't coming from anyone inside the house, right? I have cut ties with my sources because I want that chat to just be peaceful, rub noses with Jeff and whomever else is in it. But I have sources, plural, that I have cut off. I'm just no more leaks.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes the agent of chaos just
AOC.
how chaotic he can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess a Saturday pre-show was a little chat was popping, as they say.
You dirty dog.
Yeah.
You dirty
That was
dog.
not my intention either. That was not my intention.
No, of course not. No. I know. No, the only thing you intend to do in those back channels is get more money for your fantasy baseball.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it. That's all that you want.
And I'm not doing so well. I might lose Montante this week, so I don't want to talk about it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh well.
So
shoes on the other foot.
I mean, I kind of want to just let it rip.
Go for it. Come on.
Do you have any random notes?
I think as I always do, I think I burn them on the way through here. The only thing I was concerned about was Montante. And this week I need more Montante content. That's the only thing I have for as a note. And I believe Sheldon has some hateful things for Montante, including, I mean, he was very negative towards Burger King. Very negative.
Yeah, what was that? That
was a shot around the
for.
world. So all you Burger King fans, and I know there's many of you out there.
I am one of them for sure.
Well, listen, Montante, earthquake or not, and that was I love getting my earthquake news from Montante. By the way, that was great. I think it was like, hey, big earthquake here, and then the next tweet was my photo fell off of the wall, and I thought it was the dryer next door. Like that was it. I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want for an earthquake tweet. That's it. Thank you. But that was it. That was all I had for my random notes.
Those are good. Those are good. Better than Coleman's. All right. So I literally earlier in the show said that Jeff overhyped something, so I cannot push this to next week. I got to get to it now because I don't want to fall into that trap of overhyping it because maybe it's not that good. So no one show this week, so I was a little bored. So I did do some digging around, and I have uncovered almost every single EEI article that Kirk wrote. I'm sure maybe some people have this. Maybe I'm not breaking anything. I haven't figured out what to do with this, but let me tell you, Red, it is a treasure trove of some very, great writing. I definitely read some of the stuff, but not like, I feel like I'd like to go back and just be that, like, okay, podcast drops, I'm listening right away. Same thing, like Kirk Minahan article drops talking about Shane Victorino. I'm just reading it and taking notes, doing a rundown about it. Like some of them are just pure sporto, but you could tell as he goes, it started in 2008 is the earliest one I could find. As he goes, he starts getting like just more reference, more jokes in there, more kind of tangents and kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. So I have a choose your own adventure for you. I have 5 little snippets. Well, just kind of little tease. I'll let you choose. We have one from a MLB predictions column. We have a mailbag one. Fantasy football, obviously.
Oh, a mailbag?
We got I'll call it like a sports hardo one.
Wow, Kirk Simmons over here. Okay.
Sports movie. Yeah, definitely a lot of Simmons influence and some like Matthew Berry influence.
When you say Simmons influence, is it like Chris Clemmer just stealing Bill Simmons stuff? Or is it like,
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, yeah.
But it would be like sport take, pop culture take, movie reference. And then like in parentheses, like in a couple, this is the Simmons used to like link to other sites, right? He did that a couple times. Like there was one where it's like, the only thing worse than this site is like this site, and this site. And 2 of the sites were broken, but one was like Rick Springfield's website. So I don't know what the like joke he was going for there, but anyway. All right. So MLB predictions, mailbag, fantasy football, Boston sports hardo take, or sports movie, where would you like to start?
I need baseball. Give it to me. Kirk.
MLB predictions. Okay.
Yeah,
This is a good one. Yeah.
Kirk's into baseball for sure. Yeah. Give it to me.
This one was so the article title was my 103 semi-fearless predictions for the 2009 MLB season. I think that's a play on like bowl predictions, right? I don't know where the 103 came from. I'm not quite sure the relevance of that number, but there are a couple that jumped out. So this is where it's a little Simmons-esque, where it's like the quick hitters, but so it's like number 19, call it a hunch, but nobody reaches 50 home runs this season in either league. 20, Ryan Howard hits 46. 21, Miguel Cabrera repeats as the AL winner with 44. 22, hot take. And he didn't put that, but that's just me. Sorry. Editorializing it. Nobody will care about the World Baseball Classic. So that was a nice little quick hitter. But then another one, and this was for you. And I don't know. Actually, let me ask you, Red. Do you recall what Kirk's take on Inglourious Bastards is? I don't remember him giving an opinion. I know he likes Tarantino, obviously.
Loves Tarantino, obviously. I don't remember him having super strong feelings other than he kind of commented on Tarantino's ability to start to like, he was fascinated with his want to change history and rewrite history.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I do remember that. But okay, so this is what he said. Again, this is in the middle of bold predictions for baseball, but this is what he did. This is Kirk being Kirk, Simmons being Simmons, whatever. This is actually a little surprising. So are you sitting down? I smell a whiff from Tarantino with Inglourious Bastards. Yes, that is the correct spelling. Don't like Mike Myers, Cloris Leachman, and BJ Novak, Ryan Howard from The Office, in a World War II movie. Is this going to be a goofy comedy? And how about Quentin Tarantino? I enjoyed the Kill Bill movies, but can we call the last 10 to 12 years of his career a waste? Again, that was 2009. He wrote this. A waste. So much promise at the start, and now he just makes really good B movies. Is that all we get? So we can give him the benefit of that. I love Inglourious Bastards. I don't really know what Kirk's take is after seeing it, but calling it for it to be a whiff, definitely not a whiff by any means. Doesn't mean he doesn't have to like it, but anyway, I thought that one was interesting. I thought,
wow, that was a hot take from Kirk right there. He was throwing fire, man.
All right, mailbag, fantasy football, Boston Sports Hardo, or sports movies.
Sports movies, please.
Okay, so this one is 64. I am not going to read all of them. 64 movies, sports movies. I will let you pick a couple movies at random, and I will just, assuming they're on this list, and I will read the excerpts.
I'm a basketball guy. My two favorite basketball movies are Above the Rim and White Men Can't Jump. I would love to get Kirk's impression of Above the Rim, just because it's got my guy Tupac in there, and or White Men Can't Jump. I don't know if either one.
I don't see Above the Rim making the cut.
Okay, all right. Well, I thought that might be the case because I don't think he
references it in one of them. But White Men Can't Jump is certainly in here. Let me read that. All right, so White Men Can't Jump. This is number 26. Why it made the cut. There just aren't a lot of good basketball movies, and the ones that are great are either based on a true story or a documentary. Not sure why that is. Maybe it's because basketball doesn't have the history of baseball or even boxing. White Men Can't Jump is a buddy picture that happens to be about basketball. It's the Sting, though not as good, of course, on the playground. Both leads are fine, and Rosie Perez was a nice change of pace in the supporting role. In parentheses. Again, he just loves the parentheses. He's throwing a lot of asides. Think if they made that movie today, no way someone that looks and talks like Rosie Perez is getting that role. You're looking at Paul Walker, Lil Romeo, and Hayden Panettiere.
Oh, Lil Romeo taking that. Oh, wow, that's good.
But again, this is Kirk kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. Like, you're not expecting a little Rosie Perez, like, I don't know. Why isn't it ranked higher? Watched about an hour or so of it the other night. It's not exactly graying with dignity. Great writer, Kirk. Maybe it really does happen, but the whole idea of this world where people are constantly scamming each other on a basketball court seems to be a little contrived. And while Woody and Wesley are okay for actors, let's be honest here. These guys would not start on 3/4 of the varsity high school team in America. I'd rank them above Michael J. Fox, but below Robbie Benson. Don't get that reference, but I'm sure you do.
Wow.
And the favorite IMDb trivia fact, he had this for all of them. In the film, Woody Harrelson's character makes a reference to suspected JFK assassin Lee Harvey Oswald. In real life, Harrelson's own father had also been targeted as a possible accomplice in the killing. Just a lot of information.
Wow.
I mean, he poured his blood, sweat, and tears in this article. I hope it was appreciated at the time. This was 2009, so pretty early on for him. Again, I think the earliest one I found was late 2008. I'd be curious when he actually first started, but this seems like his kind of coming out blog post. as they call it back in the day.
I like that.
Really flexing his movie muscles, pop culture reference muscles.
I get criticizing Wesley Snipes. He's a terrible ball handler, obviously. Woody could shoot it. So I think he could have been kinder to Woody in his basketball skills, but that is what it is. How excited is Matt Carano right now? If you remember, Matt Carano, the only reason why he found Kirk is because of his writing.
It's true.
I mean, there's no way that
memorized, probably. Yeah.
Right. There was no way that was actually true, but he loved to play that part. That was great. Wow. Ziggy. I don't know where you found this stuff. And I know you're not going to tell us, but goddamn.
Maybe someday. I got to figure out the best way to get this. I don't want to just like release it to the masses. It's kind of it's not an easy thing to just release all at once. So, all right, I'll choose the next one. We're going to go.
Please.
Actually, the first one, fantasy football, the first episode the first article I could find, ranking the top running backs from 2008. And this very well may be the first thing Kirk ever wrote on the website. And if it is, chef's kiss. Though I can't shake the image of him sitting on the sideline in the AFC title game, looking remarkably like Han Solo at the beginning of The Empire Strikes Back. It would be crazy to suggest that LaDainian Tomlinson belongs anywhere but the top of the list of running backs for the 2008 season. If you land the first pick in your draft, take LT and enjoy the best feeling in fantasy, not having to worry. I mean, that is just top tier fantasy advice.
In fantasy.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound like the same person. That's incredible.
The early ones, it was just like that one. I think the only like reference or potential joke is the Han Solo and Empire Strikes Back. The rest was just pure fantasy. Like the early ones are just like right down the middle, nothing special about them. But then here's a mailbag, 2011. This was my favorite little snippet that I have. And then maybe we can end it on this one.
Part of me hopes this is DEC writing in. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay. Ahead. Kirk, the 2011 Patriots reminded me of dating a super hot girl. Everything is great. Every minute you are with her, life seems good, but deep down you don't trust her and know she's going to break your heart. So again, Simmons, nod to Simmons, little mailbag. That's the question to Kirk. George, Kirk responds. Or that was Kirk. Okay. Nah, that doesn't work. Says Kirk.
Nah,
that doesn't work. Too many flaws defensively. The 2007 Patriots are a better fit. Almost perfect, but you just had a feeling that it wasn't going to end well, particularly over the last 7 weeks or so. The 2011 Patriots aren't anywhere close to a super hot girl. I'd throw them in the Butterface category.
Oh.
Butter pass rush? Butter cornerback? In parentheses, my all-time top 3 Butterfaces: Fergie, Hillary Swank, and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Wow! Whoa!
You're gonna have to help me with this one. The first shot of Sarah Jessica Parker in a bikini in Honeymoon in Vegas is the Butterface equivalent of Wilt scoring 100 points in a game, or Bob Beamon jumping 29 feet 2 inches. Total game changer that'll never be matched.
Our boy Kirk is not ranking. Thankfully, he's not ranking underage women like Simmons is.
Simmons,
wow. That's the most Kirk's ever talked about a woman before ever. Wow. Wow.
I like the Bob Beamon reference. Whoa, voice crack. The Bob Beamon reference is great.
That was great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So there's a lot here. Maybe I'll like get a committee together to comb through it. Again, I don't know. I don't know what's holding me back from releasing.
If you ever want
people can convince me, but
if you ever want to release these to the world and have somebody like a YouTube show where they read Kirk's writing like that, or Kirk like honestly reading that writing would be a weird thing to listen to, because he's like not jaded at all, like totally different person.
I'm sure a lot of it would make his skin crawl at this point.
Gosh.
Like the saying the Butterface is one thing that's kind of funny, but then butter pass rush, butter, like he's brainstorming other.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of great writers should write more for sure.
Wow, that was great. Yeah. Thank you, Ziggy. We've gone very long, probably too long. I don't care. That was great. Anything else before we wrap this baby up?
I don't think so. We will see if there's a show next week. I think he will do a show in Chicago. I can't imagine they're all there together and they don't do a show. I'm sure he'll be on the Yak regardless, so hopefully we'll get good content out of the mini golf.
And hopefully we get Mr. Blue Collar back with us. It's not the same without him. At least somebody would laugh at my jokes. So
yeah, maybe he was holding us back.
Who knows? I mean, here we are. I'm an hour and 20 minutes in. We could keep going. Ziggy, thank you. That was a
Right.
rundown.
That was the rundown. See ya.